Hi friends, this is CC and welcome to Hobby Hands. In this vlog, we're going to turn this into this. Yes, we're going to do a build of this, which is the Zvezda 1/72nd scale model of the Helix A or the Ka-27. And it's a submarine hunter helicopter. Let's have a look at what's inside the box. Nicely packed box. We'll do a quick unboxing. So there's the instruction manual. And we look at what's in the bag. We've got two grey sprues. This is one of the grey sprues. Not too bad because it's got a recessed panel lines. Some of them are quite deep, but the others might be a little bit shallow, but could be deepened with a scriber. Tiny bit of flash, not a lot. It's got raised panel lines on the rotor plates. I will scribe it into recessed panel lines. And this is the clear sprue. It looks like there's a lot of distortion on this one. And a small decal sheet. So the first thing that we need to do is to build the interior or cockpit area of the heli, which will be that and some of that bit. Yeah? So I'll just show you what I do with the panel lines. I'll do a few runs. Each time put more and more pressure on it like that. Okay, and then we deepen the panel lines. Same thing with the panel lines on the fuselage. First couple of times will be nice and gentle, and then we increase the pressure. Alright, let's start painting. So this piece here is actually a door, so I'm just using some panel line wash. Alright, and with the seats and all that, I'm doing a quick dry brush just to give the parts more texture and make it more interesting to look at. This is, and I just use a cotton bud and some thinner to clean up the line for the door, like that. Done. Alright, this step what I'm doing is actually dipping all the clear parts into floor polish. So what we do is dip the whole part in and then shake off the excess, and whatever's left we blot it out on a kitchen towel. And then we store it inside a covered box. This is the main windshield. Same thing, shake off the excess and then blot out the rest on some kitchen towel. Like that. And we cover the box. Alright, what I'm doing here is I'm giving all the interior pieces a flat finish. And now we'll just assemble the cockpit parts, like the seats. The joystick. That's the instrument panel. Also assembling the exhaust parts of the heli. And the remainder of the cockpit. Just doing a quick dry fit here to make sure that the bulkhead is in the correct angle. And also checking for any fit issues. This is just a dry fitting, by the way. Alright, I'm installing the glass pieces or the transparent pieces onto the heli. I'll start with the little windows. It's not too bad, it's quite tight. I'm not sure if this is going to be a tail heavy heli, so just in case, I'm putting some weights into the front of the heli. What I'm using is the blister pack from a medicine pack. Put some weights and then this is super glue. And then we'll put some more super glue to hold the weights inside the front of the heli. Alright, let's start putting the two halves together now. So firstly, glue the interior pieces. And bring the two halves together. Make sure they align properly and fit properly. And in time to put some model cement. Adjusting the two halves as we go along, making sure that they align. Alright, time to use some masking tape to hold the two halves together. And finish off the rest of the heli. Done. Alright, now what I'm going to do is mask the clear areas. I'm going to change change the process a little bit. What I want to do is to now mask the clear pieces before assembling into the heli. What I'm doing here is taping some masking tape on the inside part of the clear parts, so that I don't leave my fingerprints all over it. So just put pieces big enough to cover the whole inside part of the clear piece. And now I'm going to mask the small square windows. With a toothpick, you push out all the bubbles and make sure there's no air bubbles trapped underneath the masking tape. And with a sharp blade, just cut around the window pieces. Okay, done. So this step we are actually putting putty onto the heli to hide the seam line. The seam line is actually very clear, so we got to put a fair bit of putty. Especially this long bit here. Okay, while waiting for the putty to dry, I've actually also assembled the two rotor hubs. So there's two of them, and it sits like that. What I'm doing here now is sanding the heli. So with big areas like this, I use a big sanding stick. And the first grit, or the first sander that I use, has a 600 grit, which will take away most of the material. And then you feel along the way as you go along, feel whether the parts start to align. So the next grit is 800, and this one is 2000, and finally 6000. It should be good enough for this scale. Right, friends, we're almost ready for painting now. So we are going to now stick the canopy pieces in, which I've already masked earlier. I've removed the masking tape that covered the inside of the clear pieces. So this first bit here that I'm doing is the door of the heli. Some fit issues, so I've had to scrape the sides of the piece and then keep trying until I can get a better fit. Time to put some glue on. And with the glue, I clean off any excess glue with some water and a cotton bud. Alright, there you go. I've actually installed the front windshield, and I'm using some masking tape to hold the windshield in. Now the glue has dried, so what I'm doing here is painting the frames of the clear pieces in the interior colors, which is that interior blue. Alright, now that that's done, I'm actually starting to paint the whole aircraft in the first in the outside coat, in the exterior coat. Which is like a sky blue or sky green. I'm trying to match it as close as possible to the picture on the front of the box. So I've also done a clear varnish of the whole heli, and now what I'm doing here is putting on panel line wash. Alright, now I have to clean up the splodges on the panel lines due to the panel line wash. What I do is use a cotton bud and some thinner, like that. What you want to do is end up with nice thin panel lines. Okay friends, now we have cleaned up all the panel line wash. So the next step is to put decals onto the heli. There's not a lot of decals, but for the tail area, just make sure we have the decal right way up and not upside down. Alright, we'll start off with the stars. There's only 8 decals to do, so pretty easy. There's actually a lot of rivets molded into this particular model, and the rivets look pretty big. So because of all the rivets, I'm also applying some decal softener so that the decal can form around the rivets, sit nicely as we need it to be. In hindsight, maybe I should have just turned off the rivets because they look too big anyway. Now all the decals are done. What we're doing here is giving the aircraft a coat of gloss varnish. This is to actually protect the decals. Okay, now we're going to do a quick dry brush of the model. This model is good for doing dry brush because there is a lot of bits and bobs that stick out, like the doors, little streaks. The dry brushing gives the heli a bit of texture and that light and shadow effect. The dry brushing on the rotor hub is actually quite effective as well. I also do it on the rotor plates. Not too much and not too heavy with the dry brushing. I'm gonna now start to assemble the whole model, and probably the first thing I'll do is the landing gear. Bit tricky this one. I'm also at this stage I'm installing the front landing gear. Like that. Okay, what I'm doing here now is giving the whole model a couple of coats of flat clear varnish. This is to give the model a flat finish. Okay, now almost the last bits now. So what I'm doing here is to assemble the rotor blades onto the rotor hub. So there's 2 rotor hubs and 3 blades per rotor hub. So this setup is a coaxial counter-rotating system, and you don't need a tail rotor as conventional helis do. There you go, the bottom rotor hub and blades have been installed, and it turns. Okay, there you go friends, all done now. The Ka-27 has been fully assembled, so just some final thoughts on this. The helicopter itself is actually a very unique looking aircraft. It is an unusual subject matter. Once assembled, it's a very good looking model for display, especially because it's got this setup of the counter rotating coaxial rotor heads. One turns one way and the other rotor blades turn the other way. Like that. Thoughts on the model? I would think the fit wasn't the best. There was a bit of putty which I had to go through a few times to make the seam lines disappear. The clear pieces were not the best, and actually I think the clear pieces were a bit thick. So on one side where there is a door, I didn't realize it, but I should have adjusted that side a bit more. These bubble canopy ones are also difficult to mask off. This is the front view of the heli. This is the tail view. Final thoughts, it's yes, it was quite a challenging model to build, but the final result looks good. This will make a lovely display. Well friends, I really hope you enjoyed this vlog. Please subscribe to my channel and please give me a like. And as always, thank you very much for watching.